So hello everybody, welcome to the show today, and I'm really excited to have John Loomer here today with me. Here's the thing, I want to talk about a little bit more about stats. You mentioned that before, but you're really good at tracking your stats, and I wanted to know, maybe if you've already done that, feel free to slap me around, tell me, ask the same question. But can you walk us through how you track your stats? Why you track it, how you do it, like what do you do?
Sure.
From day to day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't micromanage, right? So I don't sit there every day and look at how far did I reach with my post today, and what kind of engagement did I get with this post today? Because there's gonna be outliers. There's gonna be so many explanations for why something did or didn't work, and I don't stress and obsess over it.
Right.
So that said, I look pretty closely at my exports, especially my post level export. But I don't do it every day. I do it, every few weeks, sometimes a month. But then I take like 5 months of data, and I'll typically separate my content by post type. So the status updates, link shares, photo views in particular. I'll do a whole lot of video on Facebook. And then because it's photos, for example, are at a built-in advantage in terms of engagement because you've got the photo click,
Right.
that extra, and that to me is like, for how valuable is that? Someone clicking on a photo, it's not that important to me. So that it's kind of skews the results. So I'll compare though photos to photos. I want to compare links to links and status updates to status updates. So that's one thing I do, and I also then will look at promoted content and look to remove that and analyze those separately. Because again, you just got skewed results. Wow, this got all kinds of engagement and reach. Well, it's because you promoted it.
Right.
So then I sort them all so I can figure out top five, bottom five. But I also use ratios because especially when you look at large chunks of data, if you get greater reach or greater engagement today than you did 5 months ago, it's not necessarily because that piece of content was better today. It's because you've got a bigger audience, or it could be you chose the right time of day or something, right?
Right.
So that's the main thing, is that there's so many factors that you can't look at one post and say, something worked and didn't work. That's why you have to take a large chunk of data. So I look at top 5, top 10 area to start looking at, do we have any trends in the way something was worded, the day of the week, the time of the day, that kind of thing. But yeah, ratios. So things like, and this is where reach can come into play, right? So the number of talking about this over reach, for example.
Right.
So of the people I supposedly reached, what percentage of them created a story? And that'll give me an idea of how successful it actually was. Or the number of number of consumptions over either over the fans reached, or the number of engaged users over fans reached, because there's fan specific data within post level exports as well. Most people don't realize is there. And honestly, a lot of people think that the stats that they see is for fans only, but it's not. Right. So you can only find that within the export. So long story short, ratios, lots of data, not every day. This is how I do it.
Gotcha. For somebody who's new to advertising, I want to specifically kind of talk about people who have never done ads before, maybe a little scared of how to do them. Their first instinct may be to just let Facebook take care of everything and hit that kind of button. Or they've been doing it and they haven't been having results. I experiment a lot with ads, and one of the fun things I've seen lately, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've got the sponsored posts. I've got the I'll take a specific post on my page and I'll turn that into an ad.
Yeah.
But then a brand new post picks up some of that advertising. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't assign, and I'm not you know, it's not a lot of money, but it's almost like Facebook's all of a sudden spending my money and throwing some of my ad budget at that new ad. It's a weird, you know, so I see weird things, but you know, I don't know if you've seen anything like that, but let's talk about what, you know, some best practices, what people should do when they're advertising.
Yeah, first of all, I haven't seen anything like that, and I don't know if because I know you can create a campaign where Facebook will always promote your most recent post.
Yeah, maybe
So
I
I don't know
clicked
if
that
maybe
button.
maybe so I would check that, but otherwise I would definitely talk to Facebook because that sounds crazy.
Right.
Yeah, for new advertiser. So here's the thing: Facebook makes it really easy actually for new advertisers with that promoted post option. And that's a good way to at least get started. That said, that's how you should get your feet wet. But there's so much more out there. And I've written about this lately because promoted posts, Facebook made a change recently where you can't target your fans only. And now you have to target fans plus friends or everyone on Facebook. And my first response to that was I was a little annoyed. But the second one was this is probably good because we really shouldn't be doing that anyway. If we know what we're doing, this is clicking that promote button or boost post button or whatever it is these days is cookie cutter. It's a shortcut, and you're missing a whole bunch of functionality. So you're not targeting. You're not doing any kind of targeting with that. You're not doing any split testing with it, determining what placement is going to work best. You're just kind of clicking a button to tell Facebook, hey, go ahead and generate 3 ads. Again, most people don't even realize that's happening. It's just a really easy way to create a new campaign is all it is. This isn't an ad unit of promoted post. It's just a cookie cutter way of creating a campaign. But what you should be doing is promoting posts, like basically page posts, creating page post ads within Power Editor. So Power Editor is it's a Facebook browser plugin. I know it's on Safari and Chrome. It started just Chrome, but I know it's on Safari as well. And I'm not sure if there are any other browsers, but where it's kind of a clunky tool, to be honest with you. But all kinds of features within it that aren't within the main Facebook self-serve ad tool. And so one of the things you can do, you can find a recent post and you can promote that from Power Editor. But you can decide, I want to promote this just within mobile news feeds or create multiple variations of it. This one's going to go into mobile news feed. This one's going to desktop news feed. This can go into all desktop, whatever. You can decide, I'm going to only target certain countries with my ad spend. Or I want to, include even my email list and to target only the people who are on my email list who are also my fans. So you can be much more detailed about who you're spending your money on and split test and figure out what's working and stop what's not working and accelerate what is. So that is my yes, it's kind of overwhelming. There's a really easy way to get involved, and that's promoted posts. But once you need to get educated on what is available, because there's so much great stuff. You're not going to learn it every day. On day one though. Power Editor, need to get to know it because of things like the special targeting, placement customization that you have there, the bid customization you have with that you don't have within the self-serve ad tool. Partner categories, custom audiences, lookalike audiences, all those things, all available within Power Editor.
Wow, cool tool.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. Yeah, I haven't used it yet myself, so
Yeah.
I'll have to install that.
That's one of I try to hammer that one home. Like whenever I write about ads, I'm like, make sure you're using Power Editor, because even some cases where you don't necessarily need to use it, it just makes it easier. I mean, I say easier. Sometimes it's clunkier, but you have so much more control over your advertising when you're using it.
So let's talk about tools. It's a good segue into that.
Yeah.
My audience is mostly, small business owners, local businesses, or managers of local businesses, and they need, they need flexible, but they want cost and time effective things. What in your mind are some musts as far as tools, apps for Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're looking to do, but one of my favorite tools is ShortStack to create tabs, Facebook tabs for my page. And I mean, they have a relatively affordable. Actually, if you're a small business, they have a free option. So, but for creating not only tabs but contests and forms and all these things. I mean, some of it's like templated, but they have all kinds of templates you can use. If you know any programming at all and any design skills at all, you can make it even nicer. So that's one thing I do. And when you create those tabs, use content and ads and whatnot to drive people to them. But the other main tool that I use, because Facebook Insights are kind of hard to navigate when you just look at the exports.
Yeah,
it's not very visual. AgoraPulse is another one of my favorite tools, and so they make it's actually multiple purposes for AgoraPulse. The main reason I use it is for stats, making it more visual as far as what's working and what's not. But they also allow you to create apps, and there's also a community management functionality within there as well, where you can assign posts to team members. There's actually a lot of stuff in there, but I use it mainly for the stat stuff. And then AgoraPulse actually has a free tool called Barometer. So I think it's barometer.agorapulse.com, where you can benchmark your page and your performance versus other pages that are close to your size.
Cool.
So those are the main ones for me. I mean, a lot of what I do is pretty manual, to be honest with you. PostRocket is one I'll often use as well to help us. So it's basically a scheduling type tool, mm-hmm. but it's buffer-like, but they find the ideal time of day for a specific post to go out based on when users and your fans are most active. So I find that to be helpful as well, especially since I have to really cover 24 hours, since a large chunk of my audience is in the UK and Australia and overseas. So
very cool. Any other tools, any other features on Facebook that we missed or that you think are kind of hidden gems that people should know about?
My goodness, I'm sure we've missed some. God, we've covered a lot.
Yeah, you cover. I know I asked you that question in the beginning, but I figured I'd wrap up. You wrap up with just a quick follow up. Make sure we didn't forget anything.
No, I don't. Man, I know we did forget stuff, but yeah, I mean the main thing for me, yeah, make sure you use Power Editor. But there's certain features only available to certain people, and one of this is. People didn't like this, but there's this box that replaced the old, recent likes area within your admin panel. And that Facebook created was essentially something similar to promote a post that promotes your page. I actually tried that out and found some success with it because of the mobile ad that they generated for it did really well. So if you have access to it, which a lot of people don't, I would try it. I would essentially my main advice: find new things and experiment. Break them. Find what's out there, because you might be amazed at what you can do with Facebook.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Well, thank you for your time, John. I mentioned it in the beginning, but tell us, how people can find you and learn more about you.
Well, thanks, Mike. JohnLoomer.com. My Facebook page is facebook.com/JohnLoomerDigital. And, subscribe to my email list on my site. But also I have a podcast, weekly podcast, goes every Friday. It's the social media pubcast. So you can probably search that on iTunes or Stitcher or Google. It'll come up. And subscribe to me on YouTube. I have a weekly video blog there, as well as that's where I'll often put compliments to my blog posts. So like if I put out a tutorial, sometimes it would help to have a video as well, so I throw a video there. So that's just youtube.com/JohnLoomer.
Cool. Well, thanks for your time, and thanks for putting out such great content. I look forward to talking to you again and having you back on the show again. So thank you for
All
your
right.
time.
Thanks so much, Mike.